Hi everybody, welcome to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Now, one of the questions I've been asked recently is about when I refer to 3-lane maps in Call of Duty, and how some of the newer maps that we've had, like Shoot House and the Crash that was released yesterday as of the time of recording this video, you could say that they're 3-lane maps, and how often 3-lane maps are received well by the community, and it's something that the community asks for. And I've been asked, I've been asked to explain, well, what are 3-lane maps? Why are they good? Are they good? And kind of just go into a little bit of the history about them as well. And I've chosen to start the video here in Piccadilly because this is probably one of the best examples of a map in Modern Warfare 2019 that isn't obviously a 3-lane map. I mean, you could argue that it is, but it's not. So the idea with the 3-lane map is that to get from the C flag to the A flag, or to get from the home spawn to the enemy spawn, to get from one end of the map to the other, basically that there's 3 main ways of doing it, 3 main obvious ways of doing it as well, and then with some cut-offs that go across the lanes. You could argue here with Piccadilly that if you were to take the right flank and go through the shop on the right, there's the sports shop to the where I am right, and then cut through to the arcade that's to the left, to the right of A, that could be one lane. And then maybe the other lane is through the centre of the buses, through the B flag to A, and then the other lane is around to the left. But if you look at the shape of the map, it's more like a squarish kind of circlish type thing. It's definitely not a corridor with 3 lanes on. And also, as you're moving around, there are an awful lot of places for people to hide and post up. There's a reasonable amount of verticality. For example, people can be there. People can be up there, people can be on top of here, people can be on top of these buses. When you come to here, for example, on the B flag, people can be up there, they can be down there, they can be over there, they can be over there. So it can be a very chaotic map to try and play. And this is in direct contrast to how simple 3-lane maps, but really obvious 3-lane maps can be to play, especially with all this added verticality. And it makes these more chaotic maps more challenging to play, I think, especially if you're not playing objective game mode. So when we're playing domination, if we've got the C flag, we're going to run through to B, and then the enemy are going to be coming from A, so you roughly know where the enemy's coming from. But especially in like team deathmatch or free-for-all, because there's so many different routes for people to take, and so many different eye lines, and lines of sight that people can take up, you don't know where people are coming from, and it's more difficult to predict where people are coming from. You can cut through all these little bits, and it means that you have to. The game has to slow down a lot, because, for example, when you're coming off the C flag here, you've got to think about, is someone there? Is someone over there? Is someone in there? Could someone be over there? Could someone be there? Could someone be on top of those buses there? You come around to here. Could someone be on the scaffolding there? Could they be up there? Could they be hiding in that kiosk there, behind those things there? See, there's loads and loads and loads of places for defenders to hide. And as an attacker, you've got to be thinking, right, you've got to look in all these places before you push forward, otherwise you're just going to get killed. And that's a challenging thing, and as I say, it does lead to chaos, and it does slow the game down. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to jump over to a classic Treyarch map. So Infinity Ward, they've made COD Modern Warfare. Treyarch are famous for their 3-lane maps, and we're going to go to probably one of the best examples of a 3-lane map, and I'm going to go on the remastered version of it in Black Ops 4. So let's go and check out a Treyarch 3-lane map. Okay, so we're on the Slums map. This is in Black Ops 4, but this was a map from Black Ops 2. And you could probably say this is a definitive 3-lane map. So let's kind of see why. So you kind of spawn down here, and the A flag's just over there. And right from the get-go, you've got 3 choices. I can go that way, or that way. And importantly, that's where the enemies can be as well. So if I come out of this spawn here, the enemies can be there, and that's it actually, or at that corner there. So it's really easy to figure out where people are. It's very easy for you to decide where to go, because you've only got 3 choices. So again, there's A. So I can come running up here, so people could be posted up there. And then I've got a choice there. Or the left flank route is up through this way. And I've got that way. Now when you get to this point, just in front of the A flag, again, you've just got 3 choices. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So 3 lanes, nice and easy to predict. If I'm coming up this way, there's either going to be someone over there, or there's going to be somebody at this corner. I mean, when you get to here, obviously you've got choices between there or there, but I'm pretty sure there's no verticality in this map either as well, so people can't get on top of there. They can get up onto this fountain, but it's not very high. Then when you get into the centre of the map at the B flag, again at this point, we've got 3 choices. If we want to go on for C, we can go left, centre, or right. And there's no, I can't get over these things. These are definite choke points. Let's go through the centre route. So we go through the centre here. We have kind of a little bit of a dog leg here, which kind of joins the right and the centre lanes up. Because you kind of go up here, and that's the left-hand route. And then when you come up to here, where the C flag is, it's slightly offset. But you could say that there's one route, and one route there. So let's go back to where the enemies would spawn back here. So if you spawn back here, and you come round here, again you've got 3 choices. You can go down there, you can go down there, and you can go down there. So 3 lanes. Now, in order to spice things up, you do have, you do have bits where you can cross over. So, for example, here you've got that lane and you've got that lane. And then when you come to somewhere like here, although you could be forced into that choke point here, you can move around and come to here. And then you're in the middle at the B flag. But you see how it's really just 3 lanes. And I think one of the reasons why Call of Duty introduced things like advanced movement, where you could jump up on vehicles really easily and slide, was because although the advantages of the 3-lane system is you know where to go and you know where enemies are, enemies know where you're coming from and know where you are. So often you'll find yourself defending the same choke points over and over again, like there, or a classic one is here again, all these classic choke points that you would end up defending. And once you got to know these, the game can get a little bit repetitive. It's rewarding, and it's not that difficult to learn because there's not that many different points to learn. But I think maybe one of the reasons why they brought in advanced movement was because in order to break the deadlock, you have to be able to move fast. Now, another good thing about 3-lane systems, there's a lot less places for people to hide when you're pushing. So when I'm coming up here, for example, there could be somebody there, there could be somebody around that corner, or people in that building. There's no verticality, there's nobody up there, there's nobody up there, there's nobody up there.
Ready to dig in.
And I can just crack on and quickly, in half a second, check that they're clear and then carry on advancing. Whereas you'll know that in the Modern Warfare maps, there could be maybe 8 to 10 areas that you might need to check on some of the maps before you can go forward, where on a classic 3-lane map there's probably only sort of 3 to 4 areas where you need to check before you crack on. So you can see how 3-lane maps could often be, movement is a lot faster because there's a lot less places to have to check. Now obviously the big question, is one type of map better than the other? I think the different styles of map, the more chaotic sort of Modern Warfare maps, lead to a slower gameplay style because there's a lot more. It's a lot easier to camp. It's a lot easier to sit inside a room and look through a window and have verticality and shoot down on people. You've got to think a lot more with Modern Warfare's style of maps, Modern Warfare 2019 style of maps. Also, I think Modern Warfare's 2019 style of maps lend themselves a lot more to the objective-based game modes that force people to move, such as domination, capture the flag, HQ, search and destroy, cyber attack, even kill confirmed, and they definitely do not favour team deathmatch and free-for-all. And obviously the catch is that team deathmatch is one of the most popular games in COD, whereas in a classic 3-lane map like this, team deathmatch is a lot more fun and free-for-all, because you really know where people are going to be coming from, you know where they're going to be spawning from, and it's easier to predict the flow of games. And if you imagine you're a big YouTuber, you know, with tens if not hundreds of thousands of subscribers, a COD YouTuber that is, one of the ways that you retain your audience and you impress them is by going on these big killing streaks, you know, and showing what an amazing player you are, because you are a skilled player in things like team deathmatch or free-for-all or domination. You know, they do it on objective modes too. And the big skill gap that you have because you are better at the gunplay because you played the game for so long, and you're better at predicting things, you know, that difference gives you a really big advantage on the simpler 3-lane maps rather than the more random, chaotic Modern Warfare style, 2019 style maps. And I think that may be why lots of people who are used to going on big long streaks are finding the randomness and the more chaotic side of the Modern Warfare maps difficult to deal with, and why they're not liking them as much. Whereas perhaps like slower players like myself who don't really have the gun skills to run around at full pelt and go on these long streaks, I don't mind dying after 1 or 2 kills. I prefer the fact that I've got to think a little bit. Whether that thinking is actually making any difference to my performance or not, yeah, I don't know, but it makes me feel better. So what we'll do now is, now I've kind of shown you a classic 3-lane map, let's go back to a Modern Warfare 2019 map. We'll go to one of my favourite ones, Grazna Raid, and I'll kind of just show you again a little bit more of the difference and the things you could think about, maybe if you are a 3-lane map aficionado, and how you can think about that to maybe improve your performance and your enjoyment for COD Modern Warfare 2019. Okay, here we go. So we're back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and this is the Grazna Raid map, one of my favourite ones. We're down by the A spawn, and straight away you can see that straight off the bat, as soon as we start leaving, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 choices for where we go from the get-go. Now I know this is a bigger map than we're used to in Call of Duty, but lots of the Modern Warfare 2019 maps are like that. And then if we sort of go this way past the A flag, say we capture the A flag and we push up here, you kind of, you get to this point, and right, so let's have a look at the potential places that we've got to keep an eye on as we come through here. So choices for where we can go up that main road there, instant death. We can cut left and go through the playground, which would be better. We can go through there. We can go through there straight to the B flag. We can turn right and go up that way to the B flag. We can cut through there to go towards the trenches, or we can go a hard right to go through the trenches there. Also, places where enemies could be hiding. Here we go, and I'm probably going to miss a few here. We've got there, we've got up there, we've got round that corner there, we've got between there, we've got round this corner here, we've got behind that tank on either side, we've got right there at that wall, we've got that wall there, we've got that window there, we've got that corner there, we've got that window there, and we've got that area just, you can see that tank there? They can just about see me. So straight away, compared to the Slums Treyarch map, you see you've got a lot more choices to do. And let's say, you know, you'd been pinned back, the enemy team had got C and B and had pushed up. You know, in order for you to safely get across this open ground here, you've got to cover an awful lot of different options. I forgot about that window there, didn't I? You know, so this is immediately you're like, ooh, wait a minute, ooh, right, do I run? You know, I've got to look at all these things. Do you know, risk just sprinting out? Maybe, and maybe that's why we have tactical sprint in this game, because you need to be able to do that. Do you throw a smoke grenade to get through? Do you rely on blind luck? So let's push up further now. Let's say we went to the B flag, and we've got a really, you know, we've got a.
Securing B.
You could kind of hide yourself up here, but as we push off the B flag, we've got someone could be there, excuse me, up there, up there, round that corner there, in those trenches there. You know, wow! And this is just one route through the map. As we trundle up here, getting sort of closer towards the C flag, we've got there. That corner there, above there, that corner there. I think you can get up there, can't you? On those stairs there, through that gap there. There's so many lines of sight and opportunities for people to kill you. Let's go around here. So let's go around to the C flag spawn. So generally, I think you spawn here, don't you? I think when you spawn at this end. So you spawn here. So you've got a choice. So we got there, or we go through that door there. Let's go up to the C flag. So as you're capturing the C flag, you've got up there, that door there to cover, that there, and that there. You know? So you can see that Modern Warfare maps are way more complicated, and although you could argue that there kind of are, there's sort of 3 lanes. There's a lot more cut-throughs and lines of sight. I mean, you could argue that the road there is not a lane there, because it's instant death. That might as well be a wall. You go down there, you're going to die. So you've got one lane which is to go through the playground to the laundromat that way. The other lane is to go through the middle, straight through B towards C, and the other lane is to go through the trenches on the far side of the map. But there are loads of cut-throughs, lines of sight, and things that make it complicated. Now, as I said though, I think this is good. Because the first thing I'd say is, in order to really enjoy this style of map, is don't play free-for-all, don't play team deathmatch. Play the objective-based mode, so play domination. My advice would be play domination and play hardpoint, maybe with a bit of kill confirmed if you fancy something like team deathmatch, because people do have to move a little bit in kill confirmed. And if you enjoy headquarters and cyber attack, you know, play them too. But I'm really domination and hardpoint, because then, you know, people do have to move to take flags, and if they don't, you're going to win the game, which is what it's all about. Next thing is, don't worry about the amount of deaths you have, because again, in the objective-based mode, you shouldn't worry about how many times you die. It's all about winning, capturing the objective, and then you just slow down. You know, they've given us these great tools in Modern Warfare to peek corners, to run fast if we have to cover small gaps. You know, there's a reason why the tactical sprint isn't permanent. It's because it's when you need to cover a small gap, you know, you can sprint across as you would in real life, wouldn't you? If you had to cover like this, if I had to get over to there from here, I'd be like, oh god, I don't fancy doing this. I'd pop a smoke grenade, or I'd sprint and slide, and then you stop. And I did a movement video, and basically it's all about stop, look, listen. You stop. You look around, you look at the mini-map, you listen out for enemy footsteps, and you cover the lines of sight, cover the little cubby holes, and take your time, and you'd be amazed. I think the level of complexity they've added to the maps in Modern Warfare is to be praised, excuse me, and I really enjoy them. So there we go. Hopefully I've explained about 3-lane maps, a little bit of the history of them, whether they're good, whether they're bad, and I think it depends what sort of player you like, but they can be enjoyed by everybody if you just kind of adjust your playstyle. Right, well there we go. If you've got any questions or comments about this, please put them in the box down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.